The 1936 BMW 326 marks the true genesis of BMW's four-door sedan lineage, pivoting the company from building licensed economy cars and two-seater sports roadsters into the luxury family car market. Powered by an innovative 1,971 cubic centimeter inline-six engine, producing 50 horsepower, it featured a 4-speed gearbox and a top speed of 72 miles per hour. Its story is one of pre-war engineering triumph, featuring an advanced box section frame and a hydraulic braking system, making it BMW's most successful pre-war model with over 15,000 units sold. Strong points include its exceptionally comfortable torsion bar rear suspension and robust build quality, which allowed many to survive the harsh conditions of World War II and continue running for decades. Weak points center on its heavy curb weight, which made the 50 horsepower output feel sluggish even by the standards of the 1930s, and a complex hydraulic system that was prone to early leaks and required highly specialized maintenance. The 1952 BMW 501, affectionately nicknamed the Baroque Angel for its sweeping, curvaceous fenders and elegant presence, was BMW's post-war return to luxury sedans. Initially powered by an updated version of the pre-war 2.0-liter inline-six making 65 horsepower, it was later joined by the 502 iteration, featuring Germany's first post-war aluminum V8 engine. The 501 was a statement of survival and prestige, aimed directly at Mercedes-Benz to prove BMW could still build world-class luxury vehicles. Strong points lie in its incredibly opulent ride quality, cavernous interior space, and pioneering passive safety features like a robust perimeter frame and a fuel tank carefully protected over the rear axle. Weak points were devastatingly commercial. The car was massively overweight for its original 6-cylinder engine, resulting in abysmal performance, and its sky-high production costs nearly bankrupted BMW, making it far too expensive for a recovering European market. The 1961 BMW 1500 Neue Klasse, New Class, single-handedly saved the company from financial ruin and established the blueprint for every modern BMW sedan to follow. It debuted the legendary M10 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, producing 80 horsepower, paired with a fully independent suspension, featuring McPherson struts up front and semi-trailing arms in the rear. This car effectively birthed the modern sports sedan segment, combining family car practicality with the engaging driving dynamics of a lightweight sports coupe. Strong points include its razor-sharp handling, rev-happy and bulletproof M10 engine, and the introduction of the Wilhelm Hofmeister-designed C-pillar Hofmeister kink that remains a BMW signature today. The main weak points were initial build quality issues as the factory struggled to keep up with massive demand, rust-prone body panels common to early 60s steel, and a somewhat sparse interior that lacked the luxury amenities found in rival marques. The 1968 BMW E3, often recognized in the United States as the Bavaria, was BMW's aggressive re-entry into the full-size luxury sedan market, aimed directly at dethroning the Mercedes S-Class. Powered by the brilliant M30 Big 6 inline-six engine ranging from 2.5 to 3.3 liters, it could push up to 197 horsepower in the fuel-injected 3.3 Li. The E3's story is about proving that a large executive car did not have to handle like a heavy boat. Strong points are undoubtedly the silky smooth power delivery of the M30 engine, exceptionally communicative steering, and a surprisingly low curb weight that made it the best-handling large car of its era. Weak points include significant vulnerability to catastrophic rust in the fenders and floor pans, an underdeveloped heating and ventilation system that plagued cold-weather drivers, and heavy steering at low speeds on base models before power steering became standard equipment. The 1972 BMW 5 Series, E12, introduced the world to the 5 Series nomenclature and mathematically solidified the mid-size executive sports sedan formula. Designed by Paul Bracq, it offered engines ranging from modest 1.8-liter 4-cylinders to the legendary M535i, featuring a 3.5-liter inline-six, producing 218 horsepower. The E12 was a technological pioneer, being the first BMW to use computer-aided design to calculate crumple zones, significantly advancing occupant safety. Strong points include its timeless shark nose styling, exceptional driver ergonomics with a cockpit angled toward the pilot, and the introduction of serious highway cruising refinement that made the Autobahn feel effortless. Weak points were a notorious tendency for snap-oversteer in wet conditions due to its rigid semi-trailing arm rear suspension, heavy fuel consumption in the larger six-cylinder models, and an interior dashboard that degraded and cracked quickly under heavy UV exposure. The 1977 BMW 7 Series, E23, launched the flagship 7 Series line, meant to represent the absolute pinnacle of Bavarian technology, comfort, and performance. It was exclusively powered by the M30 inline-six engine, and later a turbocharged variant in the 745i, maxing out at 252 horsepower. The E23 introduced complex electronics to BMW sedans for the first time, including check control diagnostic panels, ABS, and automatic climate control. Strong points are its commanding, aggressive road presence, the incredibly potent turbocharged 745i which dominated fast-lane cruising, and a meticulously crafted driver-centric dashboard. Weak points stem directly from its technological ambition. The early electronic systems were notoriously unreliable. The complex vacuum-operated HVAC system was an absolute nightmare to repair when it failed, and the sheer weight of the vehicle meant the entry-level 728i models were critically underpowered. The 1981 BMW 5 Series E28 refined the mid-size formula and became an automotive legend by birthing the first-ever M5 in 1984. The standard cars used ultra-reliable M20 and M30 inline-sixes, but the M5 borrowed the 286 horsepower 3.5-liter M88 engine directly from the M1 mid-engine supercar. The E28 was heavily based on the E12's architecture but brought monumental leaps in aerodynamic efficiency, rust prevention, and suspension geometry. Strong points include the M5's status as the ultimate sleeper sedan, vastly improved interior build quality over the previous generation, and perfect 50-50 weight distribution, ensuring telepathic handling. Weak points include a dashboard that was still highly prone to severe cracking, shimmying issues under braking caused by sensitive front thrust arm bushings, and an archaic automatic transmission option that severely blunted the car's dynamic, sporty character. The 1983 BMW 3 Series sedan, E30, opened BMW's compact sports car to young families and executives by adding a four-door variant to the wildly successful two-door lineup, becoming an absolute sales juggernaut. Engine options spanned from the economical 1.8-liter M10 to the creamy 2.5-liter M20 inline-six pushing 168 horsepower. It defined the yuppie era of the 1980s and became the gold standard for the entry-level luxury market. Strong points are its legendary mechanical reliability, perfectly proportioned, boxy styling with massive glass area for visibility, incredibly engaging analog driving feel, and massive aftermarket support that persists today. Weak points are the notoriously tight rear legroom, which barely qualifies it as a true family sedan, a timing belt on the M20 engine that requires strict and frequent replacement intervals to prevent catastrophic engine failure, and a fragile cooling system. The 1986 BMW 7 Series, E32, shocked the automotive world by introducing Germany's first post-war production V12 engine in the 750iL, a 5.0-liter powerhouse producing 295 turbine-smooth horsepower. Designed by Ercole Spada under the direction of Klaus Luth, it introduced luxury features like double-glazed windows, electronic damper control, and the first projector beam headlamps on a production car. Strong points are the utterly silent M70 V12 engine, exceptional high-speed stability that made it the king of the Autobahn, and an aggressive, wide kidney grille design that gave it immense passing prestige. Weak points are the terrifying maintenance costs of the V12, which essentially operated as two inline sixes strapped together with two ECUs, two fuel pumps, and two distributors, along with a fragile self-leveling rear suspension, LAD, and heavy depreciation driven by relentless electrical gremlins. The 1988 BMW 5 Series E34 combined the sleek aerodynamic elegance of the E32 7 Series with the agility of a mid-size car, offering one of the most cohesive designs of the 1990s. It featured a huge array of engines including the brilliant 315 horsepower 3.6-liter and later 3.8-liter S38 inline-6 in the M5, and was the first 5 Series to offer a V8 engine, the M60. Strong points include vault-like build quality, the introduction of all-wheel drive in the 525iX, and the incredible high-revving nature of the hand-built M5 engines. Weak points are the infamous Nikasil cylinder liner issue in the early M65-8 engines, which chemically eroded when exposed to high-sulfur fuels in certain markets, heavy steering boxes that developed sloppy dead zones over time, and a sagging interior headliner issue that affects virtually every surviving example today. The 1990 BMW 3 Series Sedan, E36, marked a radical styling departure, dropping the classic upright shark nose for a wedge-shaped, highly aerodynamic profile with glass-covered headlights. It introduced the advanced Z-axle multi-link rear suspension, dramatically taming the snap-oversteer of its predecessors. The top-tier US M3 produced 240 horsepower, while the European version enjoyed a much spicier 286 to 321 horsepower with individual throttle bodies. Strong points are its sublime chassis balance, the introduction of the incredibly smooth and reliable M50 and M52 inline-6 engines, and excellent interior ergonomics. Weak points include infamous cooling system failures involving water pumps with brittle plastic impellers and fragile expansion tanks, cheap interior plastics that rattle and disintegrate, especially the door panels, and weak rear subframe mounts that can tear completely out of the sheet metal under hard driving. The 1994 BMW 7 Series E38 is widely considered the most beautiful luxury sedan BMW ever built, characterized by its low, wide, and perfectly proportioned athletic stance. Famously featured as James Bond's remote-controlled car in Tomorrow Never Dies, it offered inline-6, V8, and V12 engines, culminating in the 5.4-liter M73 V12. Strong points include its timeless design that has aged flawlessly, an impeccable balance between luxury cruising isolation and canyon-carving dynamics, and a lavish interior featuring early GPS navigation and active contour seating. Weak points are the dreaded timing chain guide failures on the MM62 V8 engine, which require a massive, expensive engine teardown, pixel degradation on the dashboard instrument clusters, making them unreadable, and leaking metal fuel tanks on the long wheelbase models due to rust accumulating under the holding straps. The 1995 BMW 5 Series, E39, is frequently heralded by automotive journalists as the greatest all-around sedan ever created, blending sport and luxury flawlessly. It introduced aluminum suspension components to dramatically save unsprung weight and featured the legendary 400 horsepower, 4.9-liter S62 V8 in the E39 M5, paired exclusively with a 6-speed manual transmission. Strong points are its absolute perfection in chassis tuning, delivering magic carpet ride quality without sacrificing an ounce of steering precision, the ferocious yet tractable power of the M5, and a beautifully restrained classic exterior design. Weak points are identical to its E38 sibling, V8 timing chain guides, and Vanos, variable valve timing, unit failures, along with notoriously fragile plastic cooling system components and ABS control modules that fry themselves due to their placement near the hot exhaust manifold. The 1998 BMW 3 Series Sedan, E46, evolved the E36's wedge shape into a muscular, gracefully arched masterpiece that remains the benchmark for the compact sports sedan segment. The M54 inline-6 engine, particularly in the 3.0-liter 330i, producing 225 horsepower, provided buttery smooth power and an iconic exhaust note. Strong points include arguably the best, most communicative hydraulic steering feel of any sedan in history, a heavily driver-focused interior with high-quality soft touch materials, and tremendous high-speed chassis composure. Weak points are a direct continuation of its predecessor's flaws. The rear subframe floor can crack and tear away from the body. The entire cooling system is a ticking time bomb meant to be completely overhauled every 60,000 miles, and rubber Vanos seals that deteriorate quickly and cause a rough engine idle. The The 2001 BMW 7 Series E65 shattered BMW's traditional design language under the direction of Chris Bangle, introducing the highly controversial Bangle Butt raised trunk lid. It fundamentally changed automotive interiors by debuting the iDrive infotainment system, essentially placing a computer rotary dial in the center console to control a central screen, and featured a new line of Valvetronic V8, N62, and V12, N73 engines. Strong points include a massive leap forward in cabin quietness and ride comfort, active anti-roll bars that defy the car's immense weight in corners, and being a bold pioneer of the modern screen-based infotainment ecosystem. Weak points were brutal. The early iDrive system was horrifically slow and unintuitive. The exterior styling alienated deeply loyal customers, and the N62 V8 engine is infamous for failing valve stem seals that cause massive oil burning and catastrophic alternator bracket oil leaks. The 2003 BMW 5 Series E60 continued the controversial flame-surfacing design language, looking like nothing else on the road with its swept-back Dame Edna headlights. The absolute crown jewel of this generation was the E60 M5, powered by the S85 5.0-liter, naturally aspirated V10 engine screaming to 8,250 revolutions per minute and producing 500 horsepower derived directly from BMW's Formula One racing efforts. Strong points are the unmatched, exotic wail of that V10 engine, incredibly sharp handling courtesy of a lightweight aluminum front end, and a highly spacious, modern interior. Weak points are legendary for their financial devastation. The V10 and V8 engines suffer from premature rod-bearing failures that will destroy the engine if not preemptively replaced. The SMG3 automated manual transmission is clunky at low speeds and prone to expensive hydraulic pump failures. And the complex fiber optic electrical system is a nightmare to troubleshoot. The 2005 BMW 3 Series Sedan E90 brought the bold new design philosophy to the compact segment, albeit in a slightly toned-down manner. It was the first 3 Series to widely utilize stiff, run-flat tires and heavily feature turbocharged engines in the standard lineup, specifically the 300-horsepower N54 twin-turbo inline-6 in the 335i. Strong points include fantastic chassis rigidity, the massive tuning potential of the N54 engine, which quickly earned it the nickname the Modern 2JZ, and the glorious naturally aspirated 4.0-liter V8 in the M3 variant, S65. Weak points are the N54's disastrous early reliability record, plagued by high-pressure fuel pump failures, rattling turbo wastegates, and heavy carbon buildup on the intake valves, along with an incredibly stiff, unforgiving ride caused by the heavy, inflexible run-flat tires. The 2008 BMW 7 Series, F01, represented a return to more conservative, universally handsome styling, while heavily embracing turbocharging across the entire engine range to meet emissions standards. The top-tier 760Li utilized a massive 6.0-liter twin-turbo V12, producing 536 horsepower, and the platform introduced integral active steering, rear-wheel steering, to the brand. Strong points are the elegantly restrained exterior design, a vastly improved and highly intuitive second-generation iDrive system, and staggering straight-line acceleration, even in the base 6-cylinder models. Weak points center heavily around the early N63 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 used in the 750i. Its hot V setup, where the turbos sit inside the engine valley, literally baked the surrounding plastic and rubber components, leading to massive oil consumption, failing valve stem seals, and frequent battery replacements due to engine cooling fans running long after parking. The 2010 BMW 5 Series F10 moved the mid-size model closer to the 7 Series in both scale and luxury, sharing its basic architecture and double wishbone front suspension. The M5 variant transitioned from a high-revving, naturally aspirated V10 to a sledgehammer 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, pushing 560 horsepower, mated to a lightning-fast dual-clutch transmission. Strong points include a gorgeously sculpted, muscular exterior, an interior that felt like a true executive lounge with exceptional material quality, and an incredibly refined, whisper-quiet ride at Autobahn speeds. Weak points were the switch to electric power steering, which completely eliminated the tactile road feedback BMW was famous for, making the car feel heavy and detached. Furthermore, early models with the N63 V8 suffered from the exact same catastrophic heat soak and oil consumption issues as its 7 Series sibling. The 2011 BMW 3 Series sedan, F30, marked the bitter end of the naturally aspirated inline-6 for the standard 3 Series, moving to a purely turbocharged lineup featuring the N24-cylinder and N55 6-cylinder engines. It grew significantly in size, prioritizing passenger comfort, fuel efficiency, and technology over raw agility. Strong points include a massive increase in rear legroom, finally making it a true family car, excellent fuel economy combined with strong low-end torque from the turbo engines, and a highly user-friendly tech interface. Weak points are the early N24-cylinder engine's timing chain guide failures, which would grenade the engine without warning. A floaty base suspension that betrayed the traditional ultimate driving machine ethos, and a lifeless electric steering rack that felt entirely disconnected from the front wheels. The 2015 BMW 7 Series G11 introduced carbon core technology, weaving carbon fiber reinforced plastic into the steel and aluminum chassis to save up to 286 pounds compared to its predecessor. It featured the brilliant new B58 modular inline-6 and updated V8 and V12 engines, alongside extreme tech like gesture control and remote control parking via a smart key. Strong points are the brilliantly engineered lightweight chassis that made the massive car feel nimble, the absolute bulletproof reliability of the B58 engine, and hyper-advanced executive rear seating with massage functions and removable tablet controls. Weak points include a polarizing mid-cycle facelift in 2019 that introduced massively oversized kidney grills, gimmicky interior gesture controls that rarely worked correctly on the first try, and staggering depreciation that wiped out tens of thousands of dollars in value within the first 3 years. The 2018 BMW 3 Series Sedan, G20, was a dramatic return to form, addressing the dynamic shortcomings of the F30 by drastically stiffening the chassis and meticulously recalibrating the suspension and steering. The M340i variant, using the 382 horsepower B58 inline-6, offered near M3 levels of performance. Strong points include a triumphant return of sharp communicative handling, the absolute brilliance and reliability of the B58 engine paired with the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, and a modern, high-quality cabin. Weak points are the highly controversial design of the full-fat M3 version, with its vertical bucktooth grills, a very stiff and unforgiving ride on M-Sport suspension models over broken pavement, and the over-integration of basic climate controls into the infotainment screen in the later facelifted models. The 2022 BMW 7 Series and i7 G70 completely reinvented the flagship segment, offering traditional combustion engines, plug-in hybrids, and the fully electric i7 all on the exact same flexible platform. The design is unapologetically bold, featuring split crystal headlights, an illuminated grille, and a massive 31.3-inch 8K theater screen dropping from the rear ceiling. Strong points are its Rolls-Royce levels of sound insulation and ride comfort, the staggering cinematic and lounge-like experience for rear passengers, and the smooth, silent surge of the 536 horsepower electric i7 variant. Weak points are the highly divisive exterior styling that completely abandons classic BMW elegance, a bloated curb weight pushing nearly 6,000 pounds, and complex powered automated doors that can be slow and frustrating to use in tight parking spaces or inclines. The 2023 BMW 5 Series and i5 G60 continued the dual platform strategy, launching alongside its electric twin to bridge the transition to EVs. It grew significantly, stretching over 199 inches long, and adopted a sharp monolithic design language with heavily integrated digital interfaces, including the glowing interaction bar. The top M5 model switched to a massive plug-in hybrid V8 setup. Strong points are the whisper-quiet cabin, the impressive electric range and blistering performance of the i5 M60, and highly advanced hands-free highway driving assistance systems. Weak points are its immense size and weight. The new M5 weighs over 5,300 pounds, which severely dulls the agile sports sedan, feel the 5 Series was once famous for, and the removal of nearly all physical dashboard buttons in favor of smudge-prone, touch-capacitive screens. The 2026 BMW 3 Series EV Neue Klasse represents the most significant paradigm shift in BMW's history since the original 1961 Neue Klasse. Built on a dedicated, revolutionary 800-volt electric architecture (NCAR), it completely redefines the compact executive segment. Featuring heavily stylized, minimalist retro-futuristic styling and an entirely new cylindrical battery cell technology, it promises a 30% increase in range, charging speed, and efficiency. Strong points include ultra-efficient packaging that provides 5 Series interior space in a 3 Series footprint, a breathtaking panoramic vision head-up display that spans the entire width of the windshield, and a promised return to the lightweight, engaging driving dynamics that originally built the brand. Weak points include the complete alienation of traditional combustion engine purists, the total reliance on voice and screen commands at the expense of tactile controls, and the unproven long-term reliability of its entirely new, complex software-defined vehicle architecture.